Welcome back to my channel. This is the Mental Wellness channel with Waihiga. Welcome. Today I want to talk to you guys about an interesting conversation that I had with my psychiatrist the other day. And I want to talk to you guys about this, and it was two conversations. So let's get into it. As you guys know, I have bipolar type 2 disorder. And so I have bipolar type 2 disorder, and I'm also an alcoholic. I'm an alcoholic in recovery. So far, I have 5 years. Tomorrow I'm going to be 6 months sober. So 5 years and 6 months sober tomorrow by the grace of God. In addition to my alcoholism, I got diagnosed with bipolar type 2. Now I see a psychiatrist here and there, but I changed doctors. So now I see a different doctor, and because I'm seeing a different doctor, I'm seeing him more and more. So the past 2 months I've been seeing him. We've been having lengthy conversations about bipolar and different myths and different things that I've been watching, of course, on the internet, and talking to different people that have this disease and wondering, should I do that? Should I not do that? And so I asked my doctor a couple of things. So the first question I asked my psychiatrist was, why do SSRIs/antidepressants make you suicidal? This is something that I've been hearing and I have experienced while on antidepressants for a long time in the mental wellness field. Why do antidepressants and SSRIs seem to cause suicidal ideation? Because I've been taking antidepressants since 2018, and I can tell you for sure I have experienced suicidal ideations, suicidal thoughts. So I thought that when you take antidepressants, it's supposed to cure you of having suicidal thoughts, suicidal ideations, right? That's what everybody thinks. Otherwise, why are you taking the medication? And my doctor said, absolutely not. So he illustrated it to me in this way. Or rather, he explained it to me in this way. If you had suicidal thoughts, you came and you saw a psychiatrist, you started your antidepressants in January, and then in April, you started experiencing suicidal thoughts again. Did the antidepressants cause the suicidal thinking? No, they did not, because you already had the suicidal thinking before. So what the antidepressants do, according to the psychiatrist I talked to and according to the doctor that I talked to, is that they're supposed to get you from the bottom, right? They gather you from the bottom and they bring you to normalcy. Where antidepressants can be dangerous for someone with bipolar disorder is when they take you to a manic point. So if you're taking antidepressants and they take you all the way up past the point of feeling normal, they take you over and you overshoot it. You basically overshoot it and you're too happy and you're basically manic to a point you can get psychotic. That's when they basically will stop the antidepressants. This is all under supervision from a doctor, medical supervision. So bipolar works like this. Everybody is on a normal range of emotion, like here. Everybody is in this normal range of emotions, right? And for someone with bipolar type 2, as for me, the normal range of emotions, which is mixed with happy and sad, the sad and the depression moves here, right? So now most of my mood is right here, is right down here. And when we're manic or hypomanic, we go right here. With someone, and this is still the normal mood, if someone is manic in bipolar 1, they go right up here. So what the antidepressant does for someone like me who's down here, it brings my mood to here, to the normal range. Now, if someone is down here and you take antidepressant, it brings you here for bipolar type 2. But if you take that antidepressant and it takes you here to the manic phase, they have to discontinue it because this is a very dangerous place to be. This is mania, right here. And what we're trying to establish is a normal range. So basically, long-term use of SSRIs and these antidepressants doesn't lead to suicidal ideations because you've already had suicidal ideations before you even got on the antidepressants. That is what I gathered from our conversation. So what's the need of mood stabilizers? Back to the normal range. Mood stabilizers basically get you to stabilize these moods. So if my mood is always down here because I'm depressed, we get an antidepressant to bring me here. The mood stabilizer basically stabilizes the mood and makes it just draw out and stay in this range of normal. He also pointed out that normal people do think about suicide here and there, but it's a passing thought. It's fleeting. It passes. And a normal person can come to a logical conclusion that taking one's own life doesn't make sense. It's irrational. It's illogical. And I shouldn't be thinking that way, right? So a normal person will think, yeah, life is really bad right now. Maybe I should, do that. But they can talk themselves out of it. And it is a really quick conversation. It's a really internal, and they're out of it. Now, with someone who is sick, like I have been sick, I do get sick with these types of thoughts. The thought lingers. The thought stays. The thought is over and over and over. And it's like you unpack and you stimulate different ways, and you look at it from different angles as to how you can get away with doing this. And I think the thing that really makes suicidal thoughts so much worse for someone who is sick is that it is the indecisiveness. You haven't made a decision whether to do it or not to do it. So you're constantly in this rut of should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I. And it's like a never-ending background music playing from the moment you wake up to the moment you go back to sleep, because you're really not sleeping. You're just closing your eyes. I mean, it's just constantly in your mind when you're like in an episode. So when I'm in a depressive episode, this is normally what happens. I can go for 4 days, 5 days with just the constant thought is lingering, and it's just going over and over like a tape, and it just won't stop. Those are the days I'll just be in bed and I'll, put on music, or I'll listen to something, whether it's true crime or whatever it is. I'll try get into something else, because if I stay in my own head, it is too much. It is too much indecisiveness. It's too much noise. It's too loud in there, and the thoughts are just racing constantly. And obviously I can't sleep at that point. Well, so then it comes with also lethargy and no energy, and you're trying to fight your thoughts. On top of that, you're trying to fight, people are telling you, well, go exercise if you're depressed. How can you go exercise when literally all your thoughts are driving you to 1,000 ways you can die? You know what I mean? If I go on a walk, I'm scared I'm going to walk into a liquor store because my guard is down. I'm scared I'm going to walk off the ledge of somewhere because I'm not in my right mind. I'm really sick at that moment. So I just want to cocoon myself in the bed because I know at least they'll be safe when I'm having indecisive thoughts. I don't want to make a permanent decision off of irrational temporary thoughts. And in that moment, when you're having those kind of thoughts, it doesn't feel like it's gonna go away. It feels like it's the right thing to do, and it feels 1,000% logic. Like, it feels really logical. It actually feels scarily logical. I don't want to do too much. I don't want to go out too much. I just want to stay in bed because I'm scared of what I might do next. Now, if it gets to that point, the doctor told me that I should call him. Reaching out for help when you're in the midst of suicidal thoughts is really hard. It's a really hard thing to do. I know that I say it all the time, reach out, call someone, reach out, call someone. And I'm telling you right now, reach out and call someone. Because when we're well, that is the logical thing to do. When you are distressed, when you are ill, you reach out and you call someone. And now when you're going through the thought, it's not the same. You feel like you're burdened. So to reach out and to call someone, it's just making you more burdensome, if that's a word. You feel like more of a burden. You feel like people are going to freak out more. So you don't want to call your parents because you're going to scare them, and you don't want to scare them. I mean, if you're having 4 or 5 of these depressive episodes every single year, that's a lot of trauma to bring to a family, So it's really difficult because in that moment, you don't want to scare your parents. You don't want to scare your loved one. but it's happening, it's happening. I'm scared to call the doctor because I know the doctor is going to put me in hospital and I don't want to get locked up. I don't want to get locked up. I know I'm making light of it, but it's not funny. It's not funny. These are the thoughts that happen when I'm thinking about reaching out during that time. So what you're supposed to do before you get sick is to write down contact numbers, is to write down emergency numbers of people that you're supposed to call when you're in a crisis. That's what you're supposed to do. And that's what I've also done. So that when the time comes when you're in a depressive episode or when you're having suicidal thoughts, you reach out to those people. Whether you like it or not, you are not going to like it, but you just have to do it because you're saving your own life. You reach out to someone. So you reach out to a loved one, you reach out to your caregiver, or if you're seeing a psychiatrist, if you're seeing a therapist especially, you reach out to that person. Reach out to that person and you tell them exactly what is going on. You're having restless thoughts. The thoughts are not stopping. They're racing. They're going like this. And they're telling you to harm yourself. And they're telling you to harm yourself for others. It just means you're sick. It just means you're sick. It just means it's time to review the medication. It just means it's time to up the dose. That's what it means. It's not you that's the problem. The brain chemistry that's the problem. And I think we need to take it less personally and just be like, the way that someone broke a leg and they have to go to hospital, the way that someone runs out of insulin and they need to get their insulin replaced or something like that, or to get their medication for their diabetes, the way someone has to change their diet for their diabetes. It's the same way we have to adjust to living with bipolar. It's the same way we have to adjust to living with schizophrenia. It's the same way we have to adjust living with alcoholism. It's the same thing. So please, loved ones, do not take it personally. This person is not causing drama to be petty. This person is not going out of their way to be depressed. I mean, this is a serious medical condition. That's what it is. And in Kenya, our suicide rates are extremely high. Men, women, children, it's extremely high. So these are the types of conversations we need to be having in order to prevent those types of things from happening. And I believe it starts with, those kinds of things, suicide ideations. Those kinds of things are mental illness, basically. They start from a mental illness that is not treated, that is not talked about. The second conversation we ended up having was about the myth that people who are bipolar type 2 should not be taking antidepressants. This is a myth. And it's something that I've heard from people who are bipolar as well, bipolar type 2 as well. And they've said things like, why are you still taking an antidepressant if you have bipolar type 2? Don't you know that triggers your depressive episodes? And I would think about it like, really? And they'd be like, yeah, all you need for bipolar type 2 is a mood stabilizer. And I went to my doctor, guns blazing. And I'm like, yeah, well, I've talked to people who have had bipolar type 2, and they told me that I don't need to be on an antidepressant. So why am I on an antidepressant, and why am I on also a mood stabilizer? I'm only supposed to be on a mood stabilizer. First question he asked me, very calmly, was this a medical practitioner? Was this a doctor? No, this wasn't a doctor. Forget it. Forget everything they said. And I was like, what? But this person has bipolar. No, forget everything they said. And I was like, but why? So he told me every person is different. Every person is different. Every person reacts to bipolar type 2 differently. So what works for me won't necessarily work for you. What will work for the next person? And so on and so forth. What works for me is antidepressants and a mood stabilizer. Antidepressants works for me because my depression without it is extremely bad and unmanaged. Is extremely bad. It's unmanageable without medication. My depression goes haywire. Right? So if I were to just take a mood stabilizer, what would it be stabilizing? Yeah. So that's why you need to talk to your doctor. Whenever you go out there and you talk to other people who have bipolar type. Actually, even this video, even what you may learn or pick up from my channel, go ask your doctor questions. Please. I am not a medical practitioner. I am just a person who has bipolar type 2 and who is a recovering alcoholic My degree is in journalism, guys. Yeah. So these are just life experiences that I'm sharing with you. I disseminate information. I just grasp onto information. I love gaining information and just talking about it. But don't take this as the gospel truth. So don't sit here and watch my videos and be like, that is exactly what I'm going to do. Question everything. These doctors have gone to school for years, to learn these things. Sit down with your doctor, just because my daughter's friend has bipolar 2 as well, and she's on lithium alone, which I think is a mood stabilizer, doesn't mean that your daughter should now just be on lithium, a mood stabilizer alone, and be removed from an antidepressant. Question everything, because her depression, your daughter's depression, might be more severe than this other person's. Bipolar 1 is different from bipolar 2. Schizophrenia is very different. It's a whole nother ball game. Yeah, and go to your doctor and really ask your doctor, reason with your doctor, negotiate with your doctor, and ask, why am I taking this? Why shouldn't I be taking that? Why is it only I'm on this one? Another thing that tends to happen is that when we are getting better and we're getting well as people who have bipolar type 2, I notice like we hit a plateau where we're just feeling normal. We tend to feel like we can ditch the medication. Like, you know what? I'm doing well now. Guys, I'm doing well. I'm doing okay. I feel normal. Because as I've said before in my previous videos, antidepressants are not happy pills. They don't make me happy. If they're working effectively, they don't make me happy. They just bring me to a place of normalcy, right? So I'm just normal. I'm in the normal range of emotions, of happy and sad. Normal. So there's not an extreme. So I don't take an antidepressant every morning at 7 a.m. and go, Waihiga has arrived. Waihiga has arrived. I don't do that. Oh gosh, I wish I did. But I don't do that. And that's the misconception about taking antidepressants. It's like you're taking a happy pill. No. And so if I take it for a long time, as I've said, I've been on it for about now 4 or 5 years. For the medication as is, there's a tendency to get to a place like I am now, which is I feel normal. My highs aren't too high, my lows aren't too low. I'm just feeling normal. I don't feel overwhelmed. I don't feel under pressure. My thoughts aren't racing. I'm able to sleep okay at night and all of that. I'm doing okay. You now want to stop taking the medication, or you now want to say, you know what, the medication isn't working anymore, so let me just stop taking it. You cannot stop taking antidepressants on a limb just like that. You can't just stop taking mood stabilizers just like that. Everything has to be weaned off by the supervision of a psychiatrist or your doctor. Otherwise, things will be bad. You can lose your mind in a very real way. Yeah. So don't get off your medication. Even if you are unhappy with your medication, with the combination of medication that you have, because taking psychiatric medication is not an exact science. They don't tell you for bipolar type 2 disorder, this is the exact measurement and this is the exact dosage and this is the exact pill that every single person should be taking. No, it doesn't work like that. So sometimes you find that some medications work for some people, other combinations of drugs just don't work for certain people. So each person has to find what combination works for them, what antidepressant and mood stabilizer works for them or doesn't. And to get to that combination, you have to go through a lot of trials and errors. And you kind of feel like a guinea pig. I've had awful allergic reactions. You gain so much weight, you have pimples all over your face, you're slow in your speech, in your thoughts, but you can't just stop the medication. Your doctor has to take you off them slowly and to replace them. These were the kinds of conversations that I was having with the doctor, and I thought I would share them with you guys because I thought they were interesting. So the first myth is that SSRI drugs cause suicidal thoughts. That's not true. The second one is if you are bipolar type 2, you shouldn't be taking an antidepressant. That's not true. It depends on the type of depression that you have as a bipolar person. And you should always consult your doctor and your therapist or a loved one when you are experiencing thoughts of unaliving yourself. Please. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please hit notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a video. 2023, guys, I really want this channel to get monetized. So please share these videos. Please like these videos as much as possible. Watch hours. We need people to watch these videos. So please share widely if you think that they help. Thank you so much. Until next time. Ciao, 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 ciao. Bye.